Zainab, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, my dear.
Dr. Zainab, earlier today, President Sisi participated in a ceremony marking the lineup for equipment participating in implementation of Sinai development and reconstruction plan. What's your take on that, Dr. Zainab?
Yes, what I see is very important actually to happen to Sinai, as we are now witnessing since maybe 8 years since the president had came that into power. Of course, that there is a special focus on Sinai. Yes. Given that Sinai lacked a lot of services and an infrastructure project, so what the president actually is doing is very important in terms of bringing of more projects and more equipment and tools to work for more infrastructure projects, and also for more of developmental projects to the Bedouin and the people of Sinai. The Bedouin and the people of Sinai used to lack a lot of infrastructure and a lot of services in terms of health and education. So building more of schools, building more hospitals, this is to cover the needs of the people there, and also to attract a lot of Egyptians from surrounding governorates to live in Sinai, and also to start more and more of developmental projects in Sinai. So I think Sinai would be a very perfect place for development and to attract a lot of youth from different governorates to work in Sinai.
Yes. Taking place in the Suez Canal Governorate of El Ismailia, actually the ceremony ushered in leap-in state efforts to develop the Sinai Peninsula. How do you see the importance of the development of Sinai, Dr. Zainab, for the security reasons as well? We have to mention here that the government and the Egyptian administration is giving great priorities for Sinai development for many reasons. How do you see the importance of the Sinai development for the security reasons as well?
Number one, to deal with the security problem is to deal with the poverty. And of course, when there is a lot of infrastructure projects and opportunities of work in Sinai, this means that those who are living in Sinai, they can just enjoy opportunities of work. So this means that there is more income coming to them. So, of course, we are lessen the poverty in this area. Number two, also, if you're talking about the surrounding governorates, it also are providing them with opportunities of work. So, again and once again, creating jobs and opportunities in places like Sinai means less poverty, means less social tensions and social problems. So you will guarantee more security for this area, and also bringing more of development and projects. This will, of course, lead to more development, more projects, more growth, and more enhancement of standard of living of people living there.
Yes. The president today during the ceremony said that Sinai's area is 60,000 square kilometers that needed actually huge spending in order to build its infrastructure, asserting that the people should know about the great achievements made so far. How do you see the money spent, the huge amounts in order to build its infrastructure, which was neglected for many years? How do you see this, Dr. Zainab, and how that would be reflected on the general economy and stability of the whole state as well?
I see this is a great step toward the Egyptian economy and toward the Egyptians. For a place that used to be neglected, I'm sorry to tell you, maybe before coming of the president, Sisi, there was a complete neglect to the area of Sinai. But now, since 8 years, the president actually when we talk about the government and even for those who are working in the development field are looking for Sinai as a point of development. So I see this very important and great achievement to the Egyptians. And what we're seeking and what we see for Sinai in future, Sinai is very rich in terms of natural resources, very rich in terms of opportunities, and also if we're talking about minerals and all of these marvelous places where we have these touristic places also there, places for agricultural products, and unique agricultural products can be also planted in Sinai. So if we actually were able to use this piece of land on a high or a higher economic scale, and higher scope in terms of economic achievement, I think that would add to the output of the Egyptian economy, and also will add more opportunity to the Egyptian youth.
Also, during the ceremony today, President Sisi pointed out that the war on terrorism actually is not over, and the real and full victory depends on the awareness of the Egyptian people. How do you see the role that should be played by the Egyptian people, Dr. Zainab, in order to preserve our security and to work with the government and the Egyptian administration to reach that very important goal, as well with the work done in order to develop Sinai?
Yes, of course. I see that for the Egyptians, yes, they have a good level of awareness that we are fighting terrorists, and also we see it from a lot of events from different Egyptians, and even for those who are living in Sinai, they are just supporting and helping the government in this fight. And what I say also that since we are trying and we are actually had implemented a lot of steps into developing Sinai, this will be also an important step to fight the terrorism there. Fighting terrorism, starting by fighting poverty and trying to find opportunities, and also to raise the awareness of people, and also to raise the, what can say, the educational level, also for those who are living there. So fighting terrorism is not about tools, and it's not about security and all of this. Fighting terrorism, you have other tools like providing the people of the basics of educational health services, increasing their awareness. I'm talking about the people who are living in Sinai, and also creating more opportunities. Since they feel that there is a future for them, definitely their level of attitude and behavior will be different.
Indeed. Also, during today's ceremony, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli, during his address to the gathering, described the state Sinai development projects are fresh crossing into Sinai. Can we say here that we are witnessing here a new chapter for Sinai, a new start, a fresh start for the Sinai Peninsula here?
I'm sorry, would you please repeat the question? I'm sorry, because the voice was not clear. What you're saying about the Prime Minister's talk?
Yes. During his speech, the Prime Minister described the state's Sinai development projects are fresh crossing into Sinai. Can we say here that we are witnessing a fresh start for Sinai here?
Yes, of course. Sinai is a very rich area with different resources there. And you have to work, and also the government can work in plenty and multi of projects there. So of course, if you had just a new, what you can say, yes, new start there in Sinai with a new and different types of projects, this also will be a good start there. Sinai needs a hell of developmental projects and needs a hell of work there. So all the efforts should be should be integrated there. The government, the NGOs, and even the all of the, what you can say that those of our professors from the universities, those who are truly care about the area that Sinai. So I mean that we have to integrate a lot of efforts from different levels and from different scopes from the Egyptians, not the government itself, and the private sector can also be part of this. So all of this joint efforts is very important to develop Sinai.
Yes. Also, the Prime Minister said that major state projects over the last 30 years had actually focused on two projects of East Port Said Port and the agricultural land reclamation project based on the Salam freshwater canal. What's your take on that, Dr. Sadek?
Yes, of course. What the government had achieved in terms of the projects and developmental projects to talk about the Suez Canal, of course, June. And the area of project that in Port Said also partially and part of it in Ismailia. I see that the management of this area is very successful to now, and we are hoping that we can attract foreign direct investors and a special type of investors is coming to work in different industries in these areas. Very promising project also. I mean that the government has a very comprehensive plan, very comprehensive developmental plan for all of the area of Sinai, Port Said, and Ismailia. So, and again, it's an integration effort, integration plan, integrated types of products, industrial or agricultural particles.
Yes, and finally, Dr. Zainab, indeed, during his speech, the Prime Minister said that since 2014, President Sisi has launched comprehensive developmental efforts in the peninsula, focusing on the infrastructure of roads, bridges, and access projects to link Sinai to the rest of the country. What's the importance of these developmental projects, especially for the infrastructure of Sinai?
Of course, it has a huge importance. I mean that bringing more income, achieving development, enhancing the standards of living of the Egyptians, using the natural resources and the different opportunities that existed in Sinai. So Sinai means a lot to the Egyptians and means a lot to the economy, and still we have a piece of land, very important and precious piece of land, full of natural resources and full of opportunities. And once again, that is the start since the president of Fatah Sisi came into power, is to actually having this comprehensive and in-depth plan of developing Sinai.
Yes, Dr. Zainab Sadek, Professor of Economics, thank you so much for your precious input. And now our dear viewers will watch this documentary about Sinai, the nation's spirit.